like fountains of blood shooting out of them where you knock the jugular out of them and just... don't let that worry you. Shearers are very good surgeons, and you can sew his jugular back in, or his throat back in, or his guts back in, or his leg back on in 10 or 15 seconds, and shot him down the chute. Out of sight, out of mind. As long as he stays alive long enough to be counted out, you get paid for him. If you don't make it that far with your running, you don't get paid for him. But I can assure you that the wide comb, I think, is the greatest thing ever introduced into the industry. But they're all out on their own. But anyhow, clears that up.
Could you go bigger than that one?
You can, yeah, that one is 92 mil, and they build them to 97, I think. But probably in years to come, as men get stronger in the arm or something, I don't know, they'll probably, or sheep get easier and better quality sheep and what have you, as they keep breeding the genes and genetics into them, and the sheep get better, they'll probably get them wider. But I can assure you, you push one of those wide ones all day, every day, towards the end of the week, your arm starts to ache a bit and you get a bit tired. But I can assure you, you're looking forward to a couple of days off. But in New Zealand, they just shear all 7 days a week, or 9 days a week, because they shear all day. They've got no hours or nothing. They just shear while ever the sheep are dry, so they get a lot more rain over there. And that's what upset us here a lot, was when we were on strike. They shore all day and all night, and just kept going, and broke all our conditions that we'd struck for 5 or 6 times to get all the conditions that we did have, and now it's all just broken down. So there was a fair bit of hard feeling in it, I can assure you, and lots of cars burnt, and knuckle fights and arguments and what have you, and that's when the practice come in here. But we won't go into that, we're getting off the track. We go on for a month about that. But anyhow, in the shearing industry, we work a 40-hour week, we work a 5-day week, and we work an 8-hour day, and we work what we call 4 2-hour runs a day. We start at 7:30 in the morning, and we go to 9:30, then we have a feed, then we start at 10 and go to 12, then we have another feed, then we start at 1 and go to 3, and then we have another feed, and then we start at 3:30 and go to 5:30, then we knock off and generally have a few beers, and by then I can assure you, you've earned them. Shearing is a very, very hard job, very physical. You're bent over like a half-open pocket knife all day. Every sheep will jerk and rake and kick at you and make it as hard as it possibly can. Every time you grab another sheep, you grab a fresh opponent, your body's wearing down, and I can assure you, after 8 hours of it, it gets a bit hectic, and I can assure you it will test your body out. And I think that is why today's shearers are a dying race, because it is too hard to learn, to get set and get going. When you are learning, they hold dozens and dozens and dozens of, or hundreds of shearing schools every year. They teach thousands of young fellas how to shear. They've worked out an easy pattern, how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I've been shown a dozen times, but you can't change the spots on a leopard. I can do it for about half an hour, and then I go into a dream or a spin or something, and then I wake up and now I am doing it just the same as I have done for 40 years. But they have worked out an easier system, but I can assure you that there is nothing crueler than learning how to shear. Once you get going, it's all right. You're doing one every 2 or 3 minutes, and you're not bent over all the time. But when you're learning, you're bent over, you might be 25 or 30 minutes shearing one sheep, and your gear gets blunt, it goes past red hot, it goes to white hot, and then there you are dabbing it on the sheep's bare skin, trying to chop some wool off him, and all up I can assure you that the sheep will kick and screw and buck, and then because you're trying to hang on to him, your hand slips over his nostrils here. Could you imagine someone trying to hold you down, hanging onto your nose, and you can't breathe or anything, and you'd buck and kick too, and I can assure you they will jerk it right into you and make it desperate. You get big boils and carbuncles and things all up your arms and legs, and these sheep are kicking and raking at them, and it's just like as if when you're bent over all day, that like someone with a 10-pound sledgehammer just thumping at you all the time. You get that tired, your body, that you've got a job to even stand up, and then you go to bed, you dream about it all night. How can I improve myself? You know, how can I get faster like all them other fellas? They're getting it easy, and you're dreaming about it all night. You get up the next morning and you're tired of them when you went to bed, and I can assure you that after about 3 or 4 days of this, they say, bugger this, I'll go back on the dole, and if they live on the beach or on the coast somewhere, well, they'll go back home and float around on their surfboards, and when they get hungry, come in and have a macca's or something. If they live inland in the country, they'll go up to the local pub and have 3 or 4 schooners and a couple of games of pool, and then go home, watch the midday movie and have a sleep. And I can assure you, if I had to go through it again, I'd be there with them too. There's no risk about that. I've got a young fella, the son, he's 19, and he was real interested in shearing and what have you, and I told him that if ever I seen him pick one up in his hand, I'd break his arms and poke his eyes out, because I could never ever wish it on anyone in my whole life, I can assure you. But we are a dying race, and that was half the reason why I left Nundle when I did start to shear, was that there used to be 13 resident shearers in Nundle. There wasn't enough sheep to go around for everyone to get a living, and I was young and wild, so I jumped in my car and left, and that's why I went away shearing. Today I am the only resident shearer left in Nundle, so we're getting fairly thin, and I can assure you that my tether's starting to come to an end too. The average age, the average time a shearer generally lasts is 18 to 20 years, might go 23 or 4 years, and then your shoulders fall out and get jerked out of the sockets, and your back all twists up and fuses together, and all the muscles tear off you, and I can assure you that you're a cripple, and then you have to fight the government then to get a bloody pension, and you can just sit down and go on the dole and fill in a sheet of paper, and you can collect them every fortnight and have a hell of a good time. But never mind, that's the way she is. But so much for that anyhow. But here at shearing time, you can see the old shearing shed is exactly the same, big high doorways on both ends. Directly behind those there are small catching pens. Small pens are the shearers' catching pens. We have a special man behind here at shearing time. He'll be there with 4 or 5 dogs, and it's his job to fill those little pens up, keep the sheep up to the shearers so that they have plenty there to shear. And you must shear all the sheep that are put in your pen. You can't shear all the good comb and cutting ones, all the good straight ones, and then when you get down to the last 2 or 3 big roughneck ones with wrinkles and things all over them, pick them up and shot them over the fence into your mate's pen, or otherwise you'll find out very quickly that you haven't got a mate at all, and he will come up and plant a good bunch of 5s up your jawbone, give you a good kick in the ribs, and shot you down the chute, and tell you to keep going. It's a definite no-no. The man penning up there, he favours no one. He just opens the gate, the dogs will push them in, and when he gets enough in there, he will shut it, and then you have to shear all the sheep. If you're shearing here for 8 or 10 days, you might get a pen full of rough ones this time.